I'm not sure if all of you caught Justin Trudeau's press conference yesterday from a Liberal supporter's backyard, in which he dodged many questions in regards to the blackface scandal yet again. I want to show you that. But first, I just want to say it is absolutely disgusting the way that the media, the Liberal Party, and Justin Trudeau are normalizing blackface. This is outrageous. I would say that blackface has always been understood to be a faux pas, way beyond the red line when it comes to racism, and it has a deep rooted history. Everybody knew this, even privileged people. So to give Justin Trudeau a way out to say this is Canada's problem, this is just disgusting. This is a stain on Canada, and I don't think we're ever going to recover from this on the international stage.
Prime Minister, good afternoon. David Jungern from Reuters. Two big announcements in one day: tax cuts and lower cell phone bills. Seems like a pretty aggressive move to change the channel. How confident are you that the furore over the blackface photos will turn out to be short-lived?
We know that Canadians are concerned about affordability, and two of the big issues is being able to reduce taxes for the people who actually will benefit most from it, middle class and people working hard to join it, and making cell phone bills more affordable, making cell phone service more affordable. These are issues that have come up time and time for Canadians about significant challenges on affordability, and that's why we're moving forward to lower taxes and make cell phones more affordable. It's in direct contrast with the Conservative plan. The Conservatives plan on giving tax breaks to the wealthiest 1% and to big polluters. We're going to invest in families and in hardworking Canadians. That's the choice people are facing.
Abigail Beeman, Global News. Yesterday, Mayor Nenshi published a piece in the Washington Post, and he closed with, let's use Justin Trudeau's old blunders to think about the links between individual action and real justice. What do you think of that line, and what do you think of the piece in general?
I have been very forthright with Canadians on this issue, and I will continue to be. As a country, we need to keep working for diversity, working to fight racism and intolerance. And as an individual, I have to keep having really important conversations about choices made in the past and about how I earn once again the trust of Canadians that I hurt.
I understand that you can't say definitively how many times you've worn blackface. A lot has been made about the fact that that first photo was from 2001, which was 18 years ago. Can you say definitively that you haven't worn blackface since 2001?
I've been very clear with Canadians on this issue over the past number of days, and I will continue to be clear with Canadians. We're going to work together to build a brighter future, and that involves making important choices in this election about whether we cut taxes for the wealthiest 1%, cut taxes for big polluters, the way the Conservatives want to do, or whether we invest in Canadians and keep moving forward like we are doing.
Hi there, Salima Shivji, CBC News. As you're explaining to people from minority groups your actions and those photos in blackface, I'm sure a lot of people are asking when you realized it was racist and how, what moment really crystallized that. You've hinted that it was around the time that you were MP in Papineau. So are you saying that you realized that wearing blackface is racist in 2008?
The privilege of representing the community of Papineau, which is an extraordinary, diverse part of the country, where for the first time I got to visit a Gurdwara and sit down in a mosque. I got to engage with Canadians of every different background and understand the lived reality that so many Canadians who are of diverse origins face discrimination and racism every single day. And my commitment to continue to fight for them, to continue to stand against racism and discrimination, to move forward on the first ever strategy that explicitly recognizes anti-black racism, that recognizes unconscious bias and systemic discrimination. There is so much more we need to do as a country, and I will keep fighting for that every single day.
You say you can't say definitively how many times you wore blackface. Are you reaching out to anybody who may help you jog your memory?
I've been reaching out to community leaders, to friends and colleagues to talk about my actions, to talk about how I move forward, how Canadians can move forward, how this country can do a better job of fighting against racism and intolerance altogether. As a government, I take responsibility for my actions, and I commit to Canadians to be a better ally in fighting discrimination and racism every single day.
Chris Selley from the National Post. Does that work include addressing people within your party, especially in Quebec, some of your candidates and some of their staffers who just don't seem to think this is a big deal at all? They seem to think it's no problem at all that you wore blackface.
I think we've seen a broad range of reactions from across the country. The reality is, I know I particularly hurt people who are racialized, and that is where my focus is on, in demonstrating to those people that I continue to be an ally and that I understand how much work I and we as a country continue to have ahead of us.
Prime Minister, good afternoon. Sanjeev Dhawan from Prime Minister Television. From the last couple of weeks, the pictures which have come, that has created a difficulty in Canadians' minds that why they should trust you, that you are same person privately and publicly. And you have made billions of dollars of announcements in the last couple of weeks. In the last election, 2015, you promised that you will balance the books by 2019. My question is, why Canadians should trust you?
We made a promise to Canadians that we would put growth for the middle class and people working hard to join it at the center of everything we do. And that was our campaign in 2015. And that was the point of contrast with 10 years of Conservative government that thought that austerity and cuts and benefits to the wealthiest was the way to grow the economy. What we were able to show over the past 4 years, by both seeing Canadians create over 1 million jobs and seeing 900,000 people, including 300,000 kids, lifted out of poverty, is that investing in communities, not cuts like Conservatives do, is the way to grow the economy. That's exactly what we're going to continue on. While Conservatives continue to offer tax breaks to the wealthiest and to big polluters, we're going to invest in people and in their families. That's what choosing forward means.
Karina Roman, CBC News. With all due respect, you did not answer the question about the timing of when it crystallized for you that what you did was wrong. And you talk a lot about your time as becoming an MP. Are you saying that that was in 2008, that was when you started to realize it was wrong? Did it take that many years? If you could be a bit more specific, please.
I think there are a lot of Canadians through the past days who are reflecting on and learning more about the racist history of blackface. And that is something that certainly is something that we are all talking about, and I am certainly reflecting on deeply as we pledge ourselves as a party and as a government to move forward, to continue to fight racism, discrimination, and intolerance wherever it may be found.
Ed Tubb, Toronto Star. Specifically, please can you say when did you first tell your advisors you had worn the blackface makeup? And as a follow, why not have this conversation years ago? You say you learned in 2008 that this is a racist thing to do. Why not use yourself as an example and have this conversation nationally before now?
As I said, I was deeply embarrassed about those actions. And regarding my advisors, I recognize that the responsibility lies with me. It is my responsibility. The buck stops with me as party leader, and I take responsibility.
Last question.
Mr. Prime Minister, Ali Raza from the Brampton Guardian. Just have a quick question. During the times of the blackface incident, did you have any racialized friends? And if you did, what was their response?
I have always had amazing groups of friends around me of all sorts of different backgrounds. As I've said, this is something that I deeply regret and that makes me and everyone need to pledge to move forward and fight discrimination and intolerance every single day. That's exactly what our government has focused on, and that's exactly what our government will continue to focus on.
So what did you guys think about how he answered these questions? Is blackface something that you can move on from? Is this something that we should choose forward, and this is something that we all need to reflect on? Or is this Justin Trudeau's problem? Put your comments in the comments field. I also want to know, how do you find that the media has been covering this? like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.